What's going on? Hi everyone, it's Jackson. Welcome back to Endeavours for the 4th of November. It's Tuesday. As always, timecodes will be in the description if you just want to jump ahead to one specific option. But yeah, everything here is pretty good. Usually, like, all these options here are good on another day. So I would personally go crafting with any skill, stages, and then also treasure chests. But yeah, honestly, anything here is just fine. I'd say the slowest one would probably be group dungeon or siege weapons, depending on just how things are. So I'll start with crafting with any skill. You can do writs, and if you have access to these and can just do them reliably, I would do these, because any of the writ items that you craft will count for this, and writs are really good because they give you a lot of like good shit. You get gold quality materials for most of the stuff, like tempering, alloy, rosin, drag wax. They all have their uses. You can get things like surveys, which give you the materials to craft more stuff, or you can use those surveys for other endeavors, the survey endeavors themselves, or for any of the the runestones or the resource nodes that you get. Those ones, they can all be done with surveys. So yeah, there's some really good stuff you can get from them. But if you don't have access to writs, if you just want to be able to do this just like reliably on a character, like not thinking about writs at all, there is a very quick way to do this. It just requires an initial investment of just buying a few cooking recipes. I'll just show you that now. Okay. So the recipes you need, you can get them from any chef in the game. It doesn't have to be Hizala here, but I like going to Hizala because she's basically right next to the place I go to get the provisioning materials to cook with. So it's just the natural one I go to. You need the baked apples recipe, and you can also get the banana surprise recipe if you want. But yeah, I would advise getting both of these because they're both handy for this. Because the weeklies are up now, and that's the crafting with any skill endeavor as well. So they cost 270 gold each. Once you use them, you don't have to use them again. You'll just be able to craft these items here from that point on that character. So from this point, it's free. I'll link in the description some tutorials. One of them will be it's an infinite source of just like slow earned gold. It's an easy way in a couple of minutes to just get like a couple hundred gold, so you can get yourself your recipes. Even if you don't have any gold. There's no combat involved. It's easy to get the space game option. So yeah, it's all good stuff there. So what we're doing is heading to this location here in the pier, this square spot right here. When we get here, there'll be a tray over here with some bananas and some apples in it. You can see why I suggest those recipes now. Apple basket over here, and another apple basket over here. Once you've got those, you can use the cooking station right here. I just learned about this the other day. Here's for science. So go to the foods tab over here, go to vegetable dishes. Oh, sorry, fruit dishes, no, not vegetables. Yeah, you see them both here. So you can just go ahead and craft those. And that will get the endeavor done right then and there. Now, if there's, for some incredibly unlucky chance, not enough items here to get 4 items with, if you leave and go far enough away to despawn all the containers here and come back, it will respawn the stuff here and you can grab it again. Or you can leave the zone. So the quickest way to do that would maybe be either you go to Imperial City and just enter the campaign, accept, and then it will port you into Imperial City. You just turn around, look for the tunnel with the door, and that's the exit. And that will teleport you straight back to where you were at the Oridon Pier. So if I just go here, exit, I'll be taken straight back to that pier, and everything will be reset. So there'll be a bunch more items that you can just go ahead and yoink off the wood or the trays or whatever. So yeah, they can see more stuff there, and that way you can do the weekly really easily. That's what I'd suggest for the weekly today. But I'll go through that properly in a separate video. Now, there is another place that's really good, and it's the Craglawn Apple Orchard in Velkarth, this area here. So everything there's stolen. So, I mean, that being said, there's only a guard and one NPC who can see you. Everywhere else, as long as they're nowhere near, you can just fucking steal shit without it being an issue. But yeah, that is a bit more of a trek, whereas this place here, this place runs unlocked for everybody by default, so it's really easy to use. So yeah, my advice is just use this. Okay, treasure chests. So I'd advise the options you use here, think about the event tickets as well at the same time. So there's two things I suggest. One is to do dolmens. This one here, for example, in Oridon. I assume most people are familiar with how dolmens work, but yeah, I'll just cover all the bases here. So you're going to wait for one to respawn. There's always one up every 30 seconds in the zone, and it follows a pattern. So in Oridon, it's bottom to top. So it starts here, goes here, and then goes up here. We get a bunch of Worm Cults members that pop up here. Once you kill these guys, all the enemies will start spawning. You can get a lot of XP from doing this. A lot more than you think. It's my preferred way to level up characters. Yes, there's much faster ways, but it's pretty chill. You don't have to worry about lots of people like taking up the same spot as you, like in cases of like Spellscar and Craglorn. The enemies are fairly weak. You also get the added bonus of the anchor pinions. If you activate these whenever you start killing stuff, it gives you all your resources back. So it's also very easy to like to sustain yourself around here. You just activate those gradually as you go, and it just gives you all your resources back. Also good for the other weekly, which is Bestial Daedra, though not always going to be reliable, because the stuff that spawns is just really random. But usually there'll be a lot of Bestial Daedra if you do it enough times. So at the end you'll always get like one of these red bosses. Sometimes they can be named enemies, you can get an achievement and a die for it, so that's good. And then once you do that, clear the anchor pinion in the middle, that'll complete the dolmen. And you get the chest here, which gives you your endeavor progress. So now, I'd go to the Wayshrine, come up over here, go to this dolmen, because that'll be the next one in the list. And yeah, just grab the chest there, and that'll be your endeavor done. There is also one more option, which I'll show you now, though, which is public dungeons. Also, pro tip, the quickest way to this Wayshrine here is actually over this little spot here, not all the way around. You can use that method to get there quicker. Other option is getting chests in public dungeons. So, as an example right here... Hello? Why am I in combat? The fuck? Wow, that was weird. Okay, sure. Okay, so I just gotta remove these, so it's not cluttered. So yeah, all these locations here, they have a potential chest in this dungeon here. So there's a couple of public dungeons which I have mapped out all the chests for, or at least most of them. So I'll link in the description one for Forgotten Crypts over here, because that's where you get Mother's Story, which is a pretty good set. I've mapped out the chests mostly for Rezzik's Wheel, which is where you get the Ring of the Pale Order mythic lead. So if you want that, you can also use Rezzik's Wheel, because that's probably one of the most useful mythics in the game for like most people, because it just makes you really hard to kill in PvE solo play. So yeah, really handy. I'll also have one for Obsidian Scar, which gives you Dark Brave, which is a good farming set. Like you can sprint for ages with it, and you can sprint it for like really high speeds in this game. So yeah, I usually like to farm that. The last one is Western Skyrim in Labyrinthian, because you get Venomous Smite, which is really good damage dealer stat. And because you can like just get it from Overland here, it's really easy to get and really easy to amass. Unlike some other things which can be painful to get, like trial sets, for example. Yeah, I'll have in the description a map for each of them with all the chests laid out around them, because yeah, they will work for the Endeavor as well. Just be aware, you must loot the entire thing. You can't just grab one item and leave the whole, like the rest for other people. You have to loot the whole thing, unfortunately. Oh yeah, sorry. Before I go, you can also get your event tickets in here if you go and kill any of these bosses here. Now, the invasion bosses, this one here, for example, these ones here spawn much quicker than the other stuff, especially when it comes to the delves. So yeah, you can do that as well for your event tickets. That's usually what I do for the invasion delves. But yeah, because this is where you get your chests, this is a good option today too. Just be aware, some of those bosses are a bit painful, especially the ghost dude, and his like thing that just fucking stuns you, and you need someone else to interrupt it. You can't interrupt yourself. You can survive through it if you have enough self-healing, but it can be rough. He also does a shit ton of damage with other stuff. It's like the toughest boss by far. Yeah, some of the bosses are fucking pushovers. Some of them, like that boss and the archer, are pretty rough. But you can handle them all on your own. Just have to be careful. Alright, stages in the Infinite Archive. So from the main map here, go to Apocrypha. This is where you find Infinite Archive. Even if you don't own Necrom, and thus don't own the Apocrypha Zone DLC, you can access Infinite Archive whenever you want. This is a base game option. So 2 stages is pretty damn quick. It'll take you a few minutes. So I wouldn't bother with the quest in here, because 2 stages is not going to get you anywhere near through the quest. So yeah, this is a stage here. So all stages is just a trio of waves of just regular enemies, and then it'll also have like a tougher single enemy at the end. So the enemies you can get here are pretty random. You can get Daedra, you can get Bestial Daedra, though mostly you'll just get all sorts of other stuff. Yeah, you get ghosts here. These ghosts can be annoying because they do this attack and it teleports them around, so it's hard to keep like AoEs on the floor around them. But yeah, that's about it. Okay, so this wave should have one of these tougher enemies. In this case, it's a Lich. So I usually like to go for the little enemies first. Yeah, it's up to you. Some of these tier 1 enemies are pretty annoying. But in that case, it would have been better to go for the dude creating the big fire AoE. Because when that fire AoE gets created, that causes everybody else to take less damage. So yeah, it's a bit dynamic. You have to adapt as you go. Okay, so these are verses. So these are what you get for completing stages. Some of these can be very fucking powerful, like this one I've got. Basically, anyone that stands near you just fucking takes a shit ton of damage. Some of them can be absolute arse, though. Like the assault offensive verse is almost useless. Yeah, some of them can be really good. Like this one here, 7,000 damage a second. That is fucking ridiculous for just a verse. Okay, so now we literally just repeat the process a second time, and that will be the whole thing. So, where are they? There's one. Okay, so I'm contradicting myself here, but what I suggest you do is go for the ranged enemies, because usually the melee enemies will come over to you, and you can just stack all the enemies easier that way, because the ranged enemies tend to run away. Oh, getting really lucky with the pages. That's a quest related thing. If you complete Infinite Archive, like, go far enough, you'll get these things here. Just, yeah, you'll understand when you get there. Alright, so here's another one of these big dudes. I'm gonna try and kill the little enemies first using yeah, Endless, is it Endless Fury? Or Mage of Wrath, sorry. Endless Fury is the other version. Okay, so that's it. That's all of Infinite Archive's endeavor for today done. Now, you can get some Bestial Daedra in here, as I said, but yeah, I got a few there, but you can't really rely on that, unfortunately, for the weekly. So when you're ready to leave, you just go through the portal to the next area. It will be a boss. If you want a chest, this is also another way to get chests. Each time you defeat a cycle boss, you get a chest, and it gives you some Infinite Archival fortunes, which you can use to buy stuff. I wouldn't suggest this though, because you don't get your event tickets through this one. You only will get them if you defeat the final boss, which takes fucking ages. At that point, you might as well do a fucking group dungeon. So to leave, you just need to go to the index here, and then just turn around, and the portal here just takes you back to where you came in from. You can also use houses or home tours, any of that stuff, to just like get out quickly. It's up to you. Okay, damage with siege weapons. Now, 75,000 damage, you can get that much damage like very quickly. Most of your time will be just spent going to the area to find something to attack. Now, ignore the tooltip. It's fucking nonsense. You can attack anything that's hostile in this place, and it will count for the endeavor. So I just attack regular like enemy NPCs that you just find at certain locations. I'll show you where they are. So firstly, you're going to need a siege weapon. What I would advise is as a last resort, use the siege merchants in the gates. All the gates have one of them. For example, this one here, Roshan in one of the Daggerfall Covenant gates gives you siege weapons, and just buy yourself one Fireball Ballista. That's all you need. They're really good because they deal a shit ton of flame damage to regular enemies, but they also deal damage over time. So a single shot on a couple of enemies will be able to do this endeavor, just that single shot, just because of the extra damage it does. The only thing is they're quite expensive. It's 750 gold from these guys, but as you can see, based on the guild store sale average, you can buy these for very cheap prices on guild stores. It just requires a bit of patience finding them, because sometimes it's just, you know, there's only 14 listings. That's not that many. You will have to run around looking for some. But yeah, you can get these for some pretty crazy low prices. The only issue is just make sure you get the Fireball Ballistas of the faction that you are, if you're doing it through guild stores, because if, for example, on this Daggerfall Covenant character, I buy some Dominion ones, I wouldn't be able to use them. Even though I am a high elf, I can't pretend. Alright, so once you got your siege weapons, now you need a target. Now, these question marks here, this is an add-on, I'm pretty sure, but these are Volendrong spawn locations. These are basically shrines that have a bunch of hostile NPCs with a fair bit of health. So my advice to you is use these NPCs to get your endeavor done. Because these NPCs, unlike players, and unlike Keats, which trade factions all the time, these places here, they never change. So they are going to be, in 99% of circumstances, you're going to be able to just go over to these places and use them for your endeavor. The only time where they're going to be not useful is if someone else has recently gone over to them and killed them. Mainly if Volendrong has actually spawned there, but the chances of Volendrong just spawning there when you're trying to use it are so low, so infinitely small. You've probably got more chance being killed by a cow today than you do going there and someone's killed them for Volendrong. Okay, so as you can see here, these NPCs, they're like the Golden Saint sheer growth enemies. You can attack them with your siege weapon. The only issue here is I can't exactly... It's not really flat that I can place this. Oh, here we go. So yeah, I do advise getting to a space where they can't hit you, because what that does is it makes them reset faster, and I'll show you why that's a good thing to have. So there we go. I hit 2 of them, and you can see at the endeavor there at the bottom left, it's already progressed. 1 shot, that's all it takes. So if you hit 1, you just want to be a little careful, because if you shoot them again, you can see they've almost run out of health over there. You can kill them, and most of the time it's not going to be a problem, but if someone else wants to do this endeavor now, you can kind of screw them over by doing that. So just be a little careful. That's why you want to choose an area like this, because they can't actually reach me here. So normally they'd run over and attack me, and eventually if I run far enough away they do reset, but right now, because they're just standing still, they can't actually nav mesh over to me. It just eventually just resets them on the spot, so they get all their health back, and then someone else can do the same thing. So you can do this here in each of the 3 Volendrong locations behind the scroll gates. The reason I suggest these over other ones is, unless these keeps here are taken, these gates are always closed, and players can't actually access this area unless the keeps have been taken. And even if they are taken and the gates are open and players can come in here, there's really not going to be, again, the chances of a player coming over here to attack you, knowing that you'll be here, is infinitely small. So there's the Volendrong spawn location for Daggerfall. For Ebonheart Pact, it's over here. For Old Mary Dominion, it is over here. So they're all close to one of the gates here. That's why I suggest this. Right now, this gate's open, but I doubt anyone's going to be anywhere near here. It's usually, especially if the scroll's gone, there's no reason to be out here, unless you're trying to spawn camp or something. And they'll be over here in that case. And you'll see them in that situation. But in that case, just either go to a different campaign, or just swap to a different character and get another siege weapon there, if that's happening. Or, you can use the other ones all over the place here, but they are in PvP areas, and you might not always be able to access them easily. But yeah, you can see it's pretty straightforward doing this endeavor. Like I said, most of the time you're going to be spending is just getting to the location. Now, if you do end up doing one out in the middle of nowhere, like if you end up using NPCs from one of the enemy resources or some shit like that, and you just want to escape very quickly, the quickest way is to just enter Imperial City, and just when you get to Imperial City, you just do what we did before for the crafting with any skill for the cooking, and you just go out the door. And it will take you out to where you were last before you actually entered the Citadel. So if I just turn and go to the door here, it'll take me back to Auridon. Yeah, simple as that. Okay, group dungeon time. So, in my opinion, one of the pledges today is pretty easy to do, and I would advise you do that, because you will get your event tickets that way. You can just do Fungal Grotto 1, but you might as well do this for an extra key, if you want to do this on your own. Because, yeah, keys are good for getting shoulders and stuff, so I think it's worth it. So, Wayresters 1 is available from Madge today, so that one's pretty damn easy. You've also got Blessed Crucible, if you want to do that one. If you're looking for Troll King, that's the dungeon for that. Wayresters 1 is Slime Crawl. Slime Crawl is pretty good too, but in like very specific circumstances. This is the Veteran, if you want to do that with like a team. I wouldn't really advise doing it on your own. You can do them, but especially like Wayresters 1, the final boss on Veteran is actually quite tough on your own. Does a lot of damage. Exiled Redoubt is the DLC one, which is very new, very advanced. Only do that if you kind of know what you're doing. But yeah, I'll just do Wayresters 1 on normal. Oh yeah, I gotta... Hold on, I've got to change my build. Yep. Alright, sorted my issues. Okay, so. Uh-oh. Really laggy. Oh, that is really bad. What the fuck? Why is it so bad? I fucking... What is... Wow, 700 ping. Are you fucking kidding me? I can't even do anything. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's fine now. Wow, that was fucked. I couldn't do anything. Forza down the rise and kill these interlopers. He says that every time. There he goes over there. Now I'll chuck the ultimate down. Didn't want to waste it. So when he does this, he becomes really tanky, so you just don't want to do anything to him while that happens. As soon as he ends it, it's fine. Oh, goddammit, I blocked too early. I think I let go too late, actually. Execute him now. Alright, block that. There we go, much better. As soon as you kill him, all the other shit will die, so... let's pop back to... build. Now you don't need to kill anything else in this area here. You can actually, if you have invisibility, you can just, or if you just let them all kill you, you can just ignore them and keep going. Go through here. And this guy here, you can confuse the shit out of him if you run in a circle. The conal tidal wave thing, it just does not hit you properly if you do that. The smite, you have to roll dodge or block. And this one here, you have to be careful of. You can block that and stop it, but yeah, it's just got to be careful. That there, he does not know what the hell to do if you just keep moving around. If you have like a damage companion, especially like a range one, it's pretty handy in here. I gotta admit, I've been way too harsh on damage companions. Oops. Oh, yeah, so you blocked that. Moving. But again, you can just ignore everything in here if you've got a source of invisibility. Visibility. Gotta be careful where you exit. I should also... I wonder, have I got all the chest locations mapped out for this? I don't know. Oh, no, they don't... Because I had issues with Harvest Map before, they all got reset. There's a lot of places here that there are chests. I'll see if there's any... I'll see if there's any for where Restores, if anyone's done the chest locations. No, there's not. God damn it, I had it all mapped out. That sucks. Yeah, just like look around. They look like the trunk things. These things here. These are what the chests... Oh, well, there you go. That's what the chests look like in here. So just look out for those. Like, they're usually behind some of the enemies. You can find them in, like, these parts here, like the areas underneath the bridges at the stores. You can find them in, like, the corners. You can find a couple of them in the corners around here. There's only ever 2 chests in a dungeon. There is never 1, never 3, and always 2. So yeah, you can do this endeavor as well, the chest endeavor, but it'll be slower than just doing it in a public dungeon, whatever. But if you want your keys, it's good for that. Okay, so this boss here, this is the boss that on Veteran, she's like more of a pain on solo than she looked, so... Yeah, she just... On normal, she's pretty straightforward. So, at 75%, 50%, and 25%, she disappears and summons a couple of these hallucinations, so just bats. Now, the bats do like a conal scream attack, and it goes through blocks, so that attack can catch you off guard a bit. Okay, she's about to do it right now. She goes... Get some resources back doing this. Let's get a Dawnbreaker again. Yeah, she constantly does nothing personnel kid and teleports behind you. Yeah, this one you gotta be careful, so there we go. Yeah, just always keep her in front of you. And otherwise she'll do that that backstab thing to you. Yeah, on Veteran it's way harder than it looks. Okay, and that's it. So we get our event tickets. We get our pledge done, so we can just go hand that in. So if you exit the dungeon via the one of the doors, it will take you back to the wayshrine you traveled into it from. So that's a quick way to get out. Conveniently. But yeah, I just use one of my houses to travel there quick. Now, one of the things you get for completing a dungeon like this, if you go to your furnishings, you'll get a Undaunted trophy. So that gallery furnishing one we had the other day, that'd be one of the ways to do it. So yeah, if you don't have one of those yet, that's the way to be able to do those gallery furnishing endeavors really easily. Alright, so hand that one in. Bada bing, bada bing. So we get a key, we get a transmutation crystal. It's only one, but it's better than nothing. So, yeah. You also get some Undaunted XP, which is helpful, because there's some good passives in Undaunted which you really want. This one here gives you resources whenever you use synergies, which is going to happen a lot if you're doing PvE group play, and PvP, I suppose. And yeah, Undaunted Metal, this one is just good no matter what, because it just gives you more resources, and gives you extra if you have all the different armor types. So if you've got one medium, one heavy, and like rest light, for example, you'll get the highest bonus from this, which will be 6% at 2 points, which is significant. That's like of a character with like 20,000 health. That's what we'll just assume, yeah, we'll go 6%, right? Because 3 different armor types. So it's like 1,000 health. So, you know, it's basically just like a champion point value. Because this one here is like 560, right? So, or this thing here is 1,400. So it's like, that's almost an entire Boundless Vitality's worth, which is pretty good. Okay, that's all. I'll leave it there. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions, as always, you just give me a holler. But take care for now. I'll see you next time.